What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And with this video, we are jumping back into Devil's Reign with Spider-Man issue number 1 one-shot. And if you have not been keeping up with everything going on with Daredevil and Devil's Reign, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's gonna get you completely caught up on everything going on with that event. But with Mayor Fisk instilling his no mask, no vigilante law, inscribing essentially Spider-Man Rogue Gallery into the Thunderbolts as his new police force. And with Peter Parker currently in the hospital, his clone, Ben Reilly, has taken on the mantle of Spider-Man, with this issue taking place before Amazing Spider-Man number 86. Be sure to buy the comic, support the industry, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with the Human Torch and the Thing. They had rescued Ben Reilly, rescuing him before he is able to be taken down by the Thunderbolts, arrested, and thrown into jail alongside all of our other heroes. As soon as Ben and Johnny are out of here, our Spider-Man is confronted by Thunderbolts. But this time, this Thunderbolt, he is wielding a freaking cannon. Not really having any patience for Spider-Man, he pulls the trigger, almost taking him out, with another one coming up from behind him, putting a power dampening collar around his neck. They are able to arrest Spider-Man and throw him into the back of the van. And so with Ben Reilly currently under arrest, that is where we pick up with Marcus. And Marcus, right now, the police, everybody, they're trying to find out the identity of Spider-Man. Believing that Marcus has that information, people are searching for him. More specifically, the Rose is searching for him, with the Rose finding him and kidnapping him, leaving only his signature rose behind. But picking up with Spider-Man in the back of this Thunderbolt van, he is quickly learning that there is something weird about this situation. While these guys, they hold the uniforms, they don't really seem to be Thunderbolt agents. In fact, these guys seem to be criminals wearing Thunderbolt outfits. And once they say something that tips Ben off enough to confirm his suspicion, he kicks the crap out of this guy and he jumps out of the van. Jumping out of the van with that cannon right next to him, the van, it comes careening in to try to take him out. He shoots the van and it puts that van down, crushes it like a freaking tin can. And with the news reports going out that all of this is transpiring, Ben's girlfriend can't help but to freak out. Lucky for her, he shows up downstairs on the security cameras asking to be buzzed in. And so with Spider-Man making it safely back to his girlfriend's place, or his place and his girlfriend's place, that is what brings us back to the Rose, aka Richard Fisk. This being the son of Kingpin, or at least one of the sons of Kingpin. And we're gonna talk more about Butch here later on, because right now Butch is the Kingpin, but the Rose, he has aspirations to be Kingpin himself. And so what he is doing is hiring these guys to go in and kidnap Spider-Man, because if the Rose can capture Spider-Man and find out his identity, something that his father was never able to do, then maybe he will earn the respect of his father and earn the title of Kingpin. Unfortunately, his guys dressed up as Thunderbolts, they failed, coming to him and letting him know that they failed in capturing him. The Rose finding this with a huge frustration, believing that this would be much easier than he believed. He is finding this task to be much more difficult, and so he goes to his backup plan. His backup plan is Marcus, having him kidnapped, hoping that he will give him the information that he is seeking. And so taking us back to both Ben and his girlfriend. Right now he's just getting a quick medical exam. She's really voicing her concerns, all that, so on and so forth. It's really just showing the connection that is building up, the relationship that is building up, how much they care about one another. And her biggest concern right now is that Ben, he is considered a fugitive. And so this is no longer a game. No, not that it was a game before, but now you really can't mess around, because if they capture you, who knows where they will put you. But with their conversation really starting to come to a close, Maxine comes into the room and lets them know that she is done examining the cannon that had been used against him. This cannon is SHIELD technology. Though SHIELD may be disbanded, someone is out there, they are manipulating, they are selling, and they are changing this technology, creating different weapons from it. This weapon specifically had been created to be able to take down the Hulk, or at least in an attempt to try to take down the Hulk. And that is why it packs such a freaking punch. But Maxine lets Ben know that this all connects back to the Rose. Wondering how this is connecting back to him, why he would buy these kind of weapons. That is the $1,000,000 question. And the answer to that question is that he has been making some very lucrative deals on the streets. He has been selling these weapons to gangs all across the city. But they also let him know that Marcus is now missing. And so with Marcus missing, Ben Reilly, he suits up and he goes out to find his friend. Taking us back to the Rose and Marcus. The Rose, he is threatening to torture him, or at least making it look like he is going to torture him. Marcus not bending, not breaking, asking if the Rose is in fact going to torture him. The Rose lets him know that I have no intention of actually doing that. In all honesty, I was hoping that you saw the knife, you would be squeamish, and you would spill your guts. Recognizing that he's got a little more fortitude than that. The Rose not wanting to go to the extreme of actually torturing someone. He's really left out of options. And so now he needs to figure out what to do next. How can he lure in the Spider-Man so that he can capture him? As Spider-Man makes his way through the city, he is looking for any sign of Marcus, any sign of the Rose. This is when a Thunderbolt call goes out, letting them know that they have captured Spider-Man. The Thunderbolts have him surrounded. With Ben Reilly being on a rooftop, he has to go investigate. Getting closer to on the scene, we are seeing that this is obviously not Spider-Man. Looking very heavy set. The Thunderbolts, they even notice this, make fun of him, but they go to arrest him anyway, believing that this is Spider-Man. That is until Ben Reilly, he comes swinging in, and he takes care of these Thunderbolts in a matter of moments. Knocking all of them down to the ground, knocking them all out. He goes and rescues this overweight Spider-Man, only for it to be revealed as Marcus. Because the Rose, he set this up as a trap, with him inside the vehicle directly behind them. We see a giant blast come from this because the Rose, he just used the Hulk cannon to try to open up the entire street, missing both Marcus and Ben just by inches. It looks like that he might have the upper hand on Spider-Man, with all of his focus currently on Spider-Man trying to uncover who he might be. This is where Marcus comes up from behind him and electrocutes him, putting the Rose down onto the ground. The two of them, they hobble their way back to Beyond Tower. This is where Ben Reilly has been getting funded for everything that he has been doing when it comes to superheroism. And with the two of them getting patched up, with the two of them really starting to create a good bond, a good friendship, back with the Thunderbolts, they believe that they have captured Spider-Man, having a guy in custody that is wearing a Spidey suit. Thinking that Mayor Fisk is going to be extremely pleased with them, they pull Spider-Man out of the van, taunting him, teasing him. They go to pull off his mask, only to see that it is Richard Fisk. It is the Rose underneath the Spider-Man suit. And so if Mayor Fisk wasn't angry at Spider-Man before, now he is going to be livid, believing that he had Spider-Man in his grasp, only to find out that he was tricked. And that will be the end of this issue. Alright guys, so this one really didn't have a lot to do with Devil's Reign per se, but what it is telling us, what it is foreshadowing, is the future civil war that is more than likely going to be breaking out between the two Fisk brothers. With Mayor Fisk no longer at the mantle, with him no longer having the title of Kingpin, that now belongs to Butch. But the Rose, Richard Fisk, he has has every intention of taking that mantle as his own, believing that this is his right. He is going to do whatever it takes to be able to take that title. And so what we are going to see is the family feud. We are going to see the battle of the brothers. Now, that's my best guess. That's my hypothesis on what's going to end up happening, because it really looks like this is only a matter of time before these two brothers collide with one another, with both of them going after the same power, both of them going after the same title of Kingpin. We have to assume that they are going to clash. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your theories. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell. Make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. And until the next breakdown.